Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about SoFi. Now for this one here, I'm going to talk a bit more about due diligence parts, technical analysis, institutional buyers, short interest and short flow, and what I think about this one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So I did talk about SoFi before. You'll find my previous video in the description below, but I did talk about it earlier in the month. And now we have a date for the earnings. The earnings are going to be on August 12, 2021 for the second quarter of 2021 at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll have the conference. So usually it's right after closing. You're going to be getting these results for the fiscal year of 2021 second quarter results. And so let's take a look into some of the members' growth per quarter. So quarter per quarter, since 2019 first quarter, you're able to see that there has been some really good increases before in member growth. 7 consecutive quarters of accelerating year-over-year growth. Hopefully, we're going to still continue on with that trend. That trend on itself is very strong, so we do anticipate for it to continue going. In terms of total products as well, we're going to be expecting for it to grow because it has been growing quarter over quarter. Similarly, financial services products has been growing as well relative quarter per quarter. So we're really aiming up for a really good quarter as well, one of the best it has been, since it seems to be that the general growth, including in for Galileo accounts in millions, has been growing relative to each previous quarter. Now, in terms of this one here, we do anticipate at least more than 70 Galileo accounts in millions. Now, in terms of the difference variances, remember they did give you guidances before, multiple times before, and we can take a look in a minute about the second quarter guidance that was announced in quarter one results. But this one here, it is probably at the very end, but here, this one, you're able to see the 2021 guidance. They're anticipating an annual growth of around 58% compared to 2020. So that's a total of adjusted net revenue of $980 million compared to around $621 million. The adjusted EBITDA is anticipated to be for the first time positive in 2021 compared to 2020 actual. So that's supposed to be around 3% adjusted EBITDA margins. So hopefully we're going to be able to see that. You're able to see that in quarter one 2021, this was actually positive for the quarterly adjusted EBITDA, and hopefully we're going to continue moving on forward with that trend. This quarter will be massive to compare for. In terms of the guidance for quarter two, you're able to see that the adjusted net revenue on the low is around $215 million, on the high is around $220 million. The adjusted EBITDA on the low is around -4% and on the high is around 1%. That means around 8 million on the low and 2 million on the high. Any missing or any lower below the low, that will probably result in the stock price lowering down and taking a beating. Anything higher than the quarter 2 2021 guidance will probably result in a bullish action and another jump, because that's more of a little bit of unanticipated news. So keep that in mind, screenshot it, print it, stick it up, and just make sure that on the earnings day, you're looking exactly at the numbers and knowing exactly how the direction is going to go based on just that. There is more appendices, basically footnotes, notes, and different things going on, but usually we're not interested in that information at this time. If you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to subscribe and leave notifications on for this channel. Also, don't forget to drop a like to this video. And if you would like to join our Discord, it's in the description below, totally free. We're not trying to upsell you on anything. Now, in terms of this one here, my last video, we did talk about the CEO and how he was himself a sensation and he had different parts of careers. So make sure to watch that one, because the CEO is a very interesting guy. And in terms of their institutional buyers, take a look into just July. We're only going to be taking a look at July today, because we did look at previous months before. So SoftBank Group Core added 15% to this one on the 23rd of July. Red Crow Capital added 660% on the 15th of July. And Summit Reinvestments added some shares today, around 40,000 shares, and also hedged it with a put. Now, Joseph P. Lucia Associates liquidated their position, but you get to see some new additions and thousands of shares being added in the last few days, with some liquidating, but in general it looks very, very bullish from the institutional backings. In terms of insiders, we don't have much information, but it appears that on the 23rd, you do have some other, or at least it's marked as other, from SoftBank Group, which, as we get to see from the institutional buyers, it was actually addition of around 15% of ownership for this company. In terms of short volume, take a look into this one. Currently, we're hovering anywhere between 36 to 38 to 54% on short volume, meaning that the majority of the actual shares being traded are being sold on the short side. So that's interesting for day per day. And unsurprisingly, the short flow is actually closer to 42%. So I'm not exactly sure how accurate this is in terms of the market cap and the shares outstanding, but if that is actually true, 42% can be easily a recipe for a short squeeze if the earnings beat guidance. Let's move on to technical analysis to talk a bit more about this. Now, what we're seeing here on the technical analysis part, I'm taking a look into a 2-hour perspective, is that the price point did see a bit of a beating today below the 50 SMA at the 1562 level. 30 EMA is above the 10 SMA, and that's a bit of a bearish thing. In terms of the 80X, it does show this is a bit of a negative trend, but it looks like a positive reversal is on the way based on the MACD sometime this week. In terms of stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are actually pinpointing downwards, suggesting that this might actually be a continuation of perhaps a negative trend in the next day or two. And in terms of the moving averages, they're all pinpointing downwards, showcasing that this might actually be in fact a continuing negative trend. So that's a bit of a dangerous thing to look at. Now, this one is expected to trade at 1896 on the top of the Bollinger Bands, which is a moment volume band, and at the bottom around 1403. In terms of the chart here, first off, I'm showing Fibonacci retracements because this is something high frequency traders use. The support, 1472, resistances, 1714, 1863, 1984, $21, 2276, and 2495. In terms of a price line action, you're seeing a very strong support currently at the 1472, following that around the 1490. Significant resistances, 1608, above there, 1659, above there, 1815, above there, 1926, above there, 2066, above there, you're looking upward to around $22, and then up to around $23, and then up to around $23.90. So it comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? In all certainty, I do think that this one will probably be attempting a very bullish reversal coming in closer towards its earnings. But currently, it's almost slipping downwards to around the $10. So that $10 would be very interesting to see because I think that might be the absolute lowest it can get to, but I might be wrong. Now, this one here is very attractive in terms of the growth. Their valuations might be a little bit overvalued because people are looking towards that growth, but I do unfortunately see this to be a very negative, strong trend. And I hate to see it that way, and I'm looking to add once this one starts to perhaps start accumulating a little bit and starting to give a chance for bouncing back up. So that would be a very interesting thing to see, and I do think that this one has a very bullish future. I'm just looking for the perfect moment or perfect time to buy. What do you think about this one? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.